Welcome back to Houston Life. Our next guest is a Houston native making major waves on the comedy stage. Abby Govindan has gone viral online. She's toured the world and even taken her one-woman show off Broadway.
And now she's back in her hometown, bringing her Pushing 30 show to the Secret Group in Edo tonight. Abby Govindan, thanks for making time for us today at Houston Life.
Oh, I am so happy to be here. It's such an honor. I've been watching you guys on my TV for so long.
Your comedy is so relatable to so many people, and you tackle subjects that a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, we're talking about like immigrant parents, and this is funny, but should I be laughing? That's what makes you, I think, so popular. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that for so long I grew up watching all of these amazing comedians who I looked up to, but I did feel like there was a distinct voice missing in comedy, and I, in 2017, was like, I wonder if I could fill this void that I feel like there is. And what was really unique about the hour that I toured is I tell people up top I don't make fun of my parents. They're never the butt of the joke. We all laugh together. And I'm just so proud of that show. It's my baby. It took 3.5 years to develop, and,
wow.
and I got to take it off Broadway earlier this year. It was produced by two very talented comedians who I look up to a lot, so I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
Well, I think Houston is lucky to have you because you're representing us on this large scale, this large stage, and I just love the irony in the fact that when you started to do this, you were actually probably genuinely worried about embarrassing your immigrant parents.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because what if you don't succeed? You know, what if you didn't take the safe route? What have you learned on your journey about yourself and, you know, just about being brave?
Yeah, so the first show that I just wrapped up a tour in Europe with, it's called How to Embarrass Your Immigrant Parents, and it's the story of how I told my parents I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, how our relationship fell apart because of it, and how we built our relationship back up together after my brief time in a mental hospital following a suicide attempt. And what I talk about in the hour is my parents were not very kind to me because when I told them I wanted to be a comedian, they weren't supportive. And it would have been really easy to make them the villains of the story, but what I learned is that I wasn't very kind to them by thinking of them as these one-dimensional evil immigrant parents. They were brought up with different cultural expectations, and when I learned to extend them that empathy and we worked through it through communication, like all three of us became better because of it. And it's a story I've told on hundreds of stages across the world to thousands of people, and I'm really grateful to be able to do that.
It's very revealing and vulnerable of you, by the way, Abby, to share these stories and to find a path through comedy to share them with so many people. Describe to us your relationship today, because based on these smiles we're seeing on the screen, it seems like perhaps your relationship has been patched up.
Oh yeah, my parents and I are really, really close. I had a show in Dallas a couple of months ago, and my mom could tell that I was really exhausted from traveling all the time by myself, so she literally drove me to Dallas, dropped me off at the comedy show as if it was like school, and then picked me up again after the comedy show, and we drove back together to Houston. It was really sweet. So it's just really nice. With all the success I've experienced, I just can't even imagine going through all of this without them by my side. And so many young South Asian kids, so many parents of South Asian kids come to my show, and they are like, oh, you know, your show made me realize that having a good relationship with my kid is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what other people think. And
wow.
So.
Yeah. So your show called Pushing 30, for us, much past that. That is like, okay, she's still a baby, but you are a fresh voice and you do offer a fresh and new perspective. How are you received, seriously, in the comedy world? Because you are so young, and you are just getting started, but you have seen success. What is it like?
I am one of the youngest touring comics in the world. There's very few women doing it full-time, especially very few women my age. I have been mistaken. I opened for a very famous comedian back in March, and I want to say, and when I was going backstage, the guy stopped me, the bouncer stopped me because he thought I was a fan trying to go backstage. And I think a lot of people underestimate me because when I say I'm a stand-up comedian, if I say the word stand-up comedian, I'm not the person that you imagine. So like even I was in Mexico a couple of days ago, and I was scuba diving, and a couple of people on the boat were like, what do you do for work? And I said, I'm a stand-up comedian. And the first question I always get. They're like, are you kidding? Or like, oh, is that like a hobby? And I'm like, no, that's actually what I do for a living. I know you don't meet a lot of Indian women who say that they do stand-up comedy, so I understand why it's not believable at first, but I think that I've worked really hard to get where I am, and I'm excited to kind of clear up this path for other people to get to this point much more easily than I got to this point. And I wouldn't be here if not for the South Asian comedians before me who paved the way for me. So I'm just really happy to be the torchbearer and to see what fresh faces come up next.
I think that's really beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
Again, very vulnerable of you to share your mental health struggles while you're at Fordham University. You say comedy classes helped you heal. Now you are on the stage, really living the dream in New York City, traveling, scuba diving in Mexico. I mean, can we trade places just for a day? When people go out to see you at the Secret Group, which is right at St. Emmanuel on Polk Street, and Edo people go see the show, will the show be a little bit different because you are on your home turf?
So tonight's show is Pushing 30. It's my second one, and I'm still figuring out what the show will be. The first show is very much a finished product, but it started as a series of jokes, and then through experimenting with different audiences, I figured out what the through line would be, what the start, middle, end would be. So tonight is very beginning stages of the second hour, but it's a whole new hour of jokes where I talk about, you know, the acclaim that came with the first hour, how it changed my life, how crazy it is to date while being a full-time stand-up comedian. And I'm really excited for the audience to see these new jokes on my home turf. And I'm really excited for the way that this show will progress the way that the first one did.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, listen, the Secret Group's a great venue. You are a great voice for the younger generation coming up. And we can learn a thing or two, you know, some older folks. Maybe we can learn a thing or two. So
You guys aren't that much older than me.
Oh, yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
child,
Just
please.
at 20 years, Abby Govindan, thanks so much for stopping by. And yes, people do stop her on the subways asking about her rhinestone Bucky's sweatshirt.
Reppin'.
Don't forget, you can catch her tonight at the Secret Group. Her Pushing 30 tour, doors open at 7 p.m. And you can visit our website, HoustonLife.tv, to find a link to purchase tickets.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is so much fun.
This was fun.
You're
Come
fun.
back and see us anytime.
I'd love
Always
it.
welcome. Can we stay with you in New York sometime?
Yes.